Hey guys, Merkeebs here, and this is the Made 68 Pro from Melgeek. Melgeek sent this board over for review, but as usual, all thoughts and opinions are always my own. And so far, it's been one of the more enjoyable Hall Effect keyboards I've gotten a chance to play with, so let's talk about it. So the Made 68 Pro is a new iteration of Melgeek's already existing Made 68, but now with a big performance boost, and comes in a few different themes and color variants to choose from. The board's theming is based off elements, so the board comes in variants like air, earth, fire, and the unit that I have on hand for review is the water variant. As of recording this, the board is live right now on Kickstarter, with an early bird starting price of just $99 US. Now for the unboxing. I should mention before anything else that the packaging I got for review isn't final, and the retail packaging for the Made 68 Pro should look more in theme with the new board. Anyways, inside the box we get the board itself wrapped in plastic, a quick start guide with some Melgeek stickers, a paracord USB Type-C to Type-A cable, a wire keycap puller, and some extra keycaps. Taking a look at the board, the Made 68 Pro is a pre-built, all-plastic, compact 65% standard ANSI layout Hall Effect magnetic switch keyboard. The board I've got on hand is in the water theme, so it's themed accordingly with some deep blue double-shot ABS plastic keycaps in Melgeek's MCR profile, which is a little bit similar to Cherry profile with just a larger surface area for finger placement. Now taking a look at the side of the board has a front height of 19mm with a typing angle of 7 degrees. And keeping with the theming are these removable metal side pieces with a repeated wave design all over it, with 4 hex screws sticking out the side. Over on the bottom of the board, there's a textured bottom with a grid design, some Melgeek branding, and 4 rubber case feet. Then towards the rear is a USB-C port over on the left-hand side of the board, and this really cool looking blue-colored see-through acrylic layer, also with a similar wave pattern printed all over it. And the coolest part is, when the board is plugged in, it emits a backlight that spans the entire rear of the board. Now for the switches that came with my unit, my early prototype came with Gatoron magnetic white switches, but for the production run, the board will come with Melgeek's collaboration switch with TTC, the TTC KOM switches, which translates to King of Magnetic Switch. Then finally, the stabs that come with the board are plate mounted and factory lubed really well, not really needing any relubing or any tuning. They're just good to go right out of the box. Now when it comes to software, Melgeek have a downloadable partner software called their Hive software for playing around with the board settings. But they also have an easily accessible web driver available in case you're not comfy installing any third-party software on your system. In the software you can do basic functions like changing up key mappings or keybinds and play around with the lighting settings. But since this is a Hall Effect magnetic switch keyboard, it's pretty feature-packed. You can do things like tweaking every individual switch's actuation point, from as low as 0.1mm all the way to the switch's full travel. Then you can also set up rapid trigger, set the switch's dead zone, and it's a little bit controversial given Valve's ban of the feature in CS2, but the board does support snap tap. Now when it comes to the actual performance numbers, since I only have my hands on a pre-production unit, my unit is running at 1000Hz with 1 millisecond of latency. But for the production run, the Made 68 Pro should perform at 8000Hz with a latency of just 0.125 milliseconds. Now there's honestly really no need to take the board apart at all, but to get it open, the board is tray mounted, so you'll need to remove a few screws that keep the plate assembly attached to the case. Then after carefully disconnecting the ribbon cable which attaches the PCB to the light bar in the back of the case, we can take a look at the internals. I'm not gonna be taking the plate assembly apart to avoid messing with things, but it's made up of an aluminum plate, some plate foam, and the PCB. No PE foams or PET films. Then inside the bottom case, there's a large silicone insert that fills up a majority of the inner casing to deal with any of the case's hollowness. And with that, that's pretty much it. Now here's a quick typing test of the board, then I'll be talking about gaming performance and my final thoughts on the board as a whole. Alright, so talking about gaming with the Made 68 Pro, like most Hall Effect magnetic switch keyboards nowadays, it's honestly pretty fun. Even with my pre-production unit running at just 1000 Hz, the board felt super responsive to every single input I threw at it. The rapid trigger performance was on par with other HE keyboards I've tried in the past, and even if it does seem a little bit unfair, the snap tap performance felt super snappy, making counter-strafing in certain games super effortless. The effect isn't really super apparent in Valorant since movement in-game starts off slow and winds up to a running speed. But in a game like Overwatch, where movement is instantaneous, you'll be moving pretty much immediately. There really isn't much else to say about the board's performance other than that it's super fast, super responsive, accurate to whatever actuation point you set it at, and gaming with it is just really great. And this Mage 68 Pro is up there with all of the other Hall Effect gaming keyboards on the market. Now to wrap things up, I personally think the Mage 68 Pro is a great pickup if you're someone that's in the market for a high-performance magnetic switch gaming keyboard without breaking the bank. If you can somehow snag the board at its super early bird price of just $99 US, I think it's well worth the money, considering the level of performance and tweaks that you can get out of it. I'm not super concerned with the board being made of plastic because it honestly wouldn't really make a difference when it comes to overall performance. It's purely a personal choice. Plus, I think even for a plastic keyboard, the aesthetics are pretty on point, and I'm personally a fan of its overall looks. Aside from performance, the only preferential things that you'd need to really think about when shopping around for a Hall Effect keyboard is what layout works best for you and how you want the board to look. So, if you like the look of the board and you're comfy using a compact 65% layout board, then by all means pick up the Mage 68 Pro. So with that said, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please do me a favor and drop a like, and leave a comment if you have any questions or thoughts about the board. I'll be leaving all relevant links in the video description down below. Thank you guys for watching. Till next time, Merkeebs out.